Good morning and welcome. I was very excited to be invited to speak up here and also a little nervous because I haven't been to gather very often. So I will continue on the subject of empathy. Yes, thank you. I will start again with the quote and to remind us all that empathy is communicating that incredibly healing message of you are not alone. And I experience this every day. I experience this at school with my students and my coworkers and the parents, and at home with my children and my family. And I'm going to go over a little bit of some of the things we've learned in some of the past speeches. I asked myself, what is empathy again? And what I learned from Dr. Erickson is that empathy is walking in someone else's shoes. If you remember the shoes, other people's shoes don't always fit on your feet, but it's important to try to remember what it might feel like to wear those shoes. Also, empathy is helping others, as in the story of Dr. Sue, who Dr. Erickson traveled with across Germany to Romania to deliver medical supplies. We also heard from Dr. Dodd, a PBS parent, and he talked a little bit about empathy in the brain. And I also learned that we can train our brain and recreate neural pathways and practice empathy and strengthen those pathways to be more empathetic. And some of those practices that we can use are mindfulness. We can practice kindness and compassion, which are some of our PBS values. Why empathy? There are many reasons why, but I chose these three. It helps us listen better, as in active listening, when we're really focusing on what another person is saying with our brains, our eyes, our ears, our whole body. We call it whole body listening in the ELC. It helps us solve problems. Sometimes we get into conflict with our friends or family, and we need to try to see what the other person is thinking or feeling, and that can help solve conflict. And all these help improve relationships. So recently, I've been doing some studies in education and literacy and SEL, and there have been quite a bit of research on fiction and teaching or learning about empathy. And as it turns out, reading fiction actually helps build the empathy muscle because we can get into the characters' minds and kind of understand what they're feeling through the writings or through the photos. So in the ELC, we do a lot of reading, and I've decided to share one of my favorite, well, one of the ELC's favorite author and books. Are you ready to play outside? Do you know Mo Willems? Are you familiar with Piggy and Gerald? Yeah. S You went to see their play one time? Yeah. So I'm not going to read the whole book because it would take a while, but I'm going to just share some of the pages because I think they have great facial expressions, and you might see that Gerald is using some empathy in the pictures. You know. So, in this book, Piggy and Gerald really were thinking they wanted to go play outside, and Gerald invited Piggy to go play outside. But does it look like Piggy is happy to be outside in the rain? No. In fact, he's throwing a big fit, and if you look at Gerald's face, is Gerald throwing a fit? No, he's looking at Piggy. And so I'm thinking maybe he's watching or listening and trying to understand what Piggy's feeling. And Piggy's rather disappointed, and Gerald is thinking. He's empathizing with Piggy. Maybe he'll come up with a solution, which he does. He solves a problem. She does that? Yeah. You can raise your hand. She solves problems. So that means your mom's probably pretty empathetic. Yeah. So he's happy now, and they look to one side and they see some other friends playing in the rain, and they decide, well, rain's not so bad. We could probably have some fun too. So now they're enjoying themselves. Both of them, as you can see in this next page, are having fun. So Piggy decides that she loves rain. Uh-oh, but the sun comes out, and now Piggy's face changes, and she looks a little disappointed, and Gerald is looking at Piggy. And how do you think Piggy's feeling? Sad. And what do you think Gerald's doing? Looking and doing what? Yeah, just looking. Okay. So, don't worry, Piggy. I have a plan. And he solves another problem. So, he's such a great friend. He was thinking about how Piggy was feeling, and he solved the problem. You'll see in the next page, if I could turn it. There we go. Elephants make the best friends. So now it's raining again. Not naturally, but elephants solved Piggy's problem. Yeah, or Gerald. Yeah, Gerald. So I want to ask you, in what ways did Gerald use empathy? Yes. What did he do? Hmm? He helped somebody, yes. I'll take 3. Yes? He used his trunk because he noticed that Piggy was sad. And one more. Yes. He found a solution. Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. The 3 things that I talked about. Why do we use empathy? Well, we use it to listen better, and that's what Gerald did. We use it to solve problems, and Gerald solved several for Piggy. And I have a feeling that Gerald and Piggy are pretty close. They have a pretty good relationship. So it brought them probably closer together. So um, I leave you with a question. In what ways can you use empathy? And I want you to think about Piggy and Gerald when you're out there with your friends, with your parents, with your teachers, with your students. How can you use empathy? Thank you. Thank you very much.